Magandang araw na naman sa inyo mga kababayan. Ako po ay si Teddy Molina, ang host ng programang ito. At ang co-host naman ay si Mr. Nino. Dito sa programa naming Buhay Pinoy sa Amerika na napapakinggan ninyo at napapanood ninyo sa pamamagitan ng Oro Deo TV channel sa YouTube. Welcome back mga kababayan. After a brief or a month or so long respite dahil nagbakasyon sa Pilipinas ang ating co-host na si Dan at babalitaan niya tayo ang kanyang mga observations doon at mga naging activities. Matagal siya ng konti doon at after a long while ay nagbakasyon siya sa ating lugar sa Pilipinas. Welcome back to America, Dan.
Thank
Special
you.
niya.
Thank you, Ted. At nagpupugay uli kami sa Amerika. Ako si Dan Nino from Los Angeles area, si Ted naman sa San Francisco. At itutuloy na uli namin ang aming blog at pag-usapan namin at iba't ibang topic sa Pilipinas at saka rito sa Amerika. Kasi kahit na nandito tayo sa Amerika, ang ating puso pa rin, damdamin ay nasa Pilipinas. At kami nakikiisa sa ating mga kababayan sa Pilipinas para malaman ng mga ating official doon na kami ay nandito sa Amerika ay nag-aalala pa rin at gusto namin ipadama ang aming pagmamahal at aming damdamin sa ating inang bayan. Back to you, Ted.
Pare, by the way, parang bumata ka na nagbakasyon pare. Maganda yata magbakasyon sa Pilipinas. You look very much recharged.
Kasi pag nandun ka, medyo yung ating mga iba't ibang responsibilidad sa Amerika o sa Los Angeles ay medyo nakakalimutan natin samantala.
Ayan, nakapagpahinga ka.
At doon, nakita ulit natin yung ating mga kababayan doon, yung aming mga kapitbahay sa GSS Village, Quezon City, at sa aking mga fraternity brother, Alpha Phi Omega fraternity brother, dahil nagkaroon kami ng 100 years anniversary sa Davao City, sa SM sa Davao City, na kung saan ay mayroong between 4,000 to 5,000 delegates from all over the world.
Wow.
Nagpunta roon. From Australia, from the Middle East, or from Canada, from the US. At ipinagdiwang namin ang aming 100 years anniversary. Our fraternity was founded on December 16, 1925 at Lafayette College, Pennsylvania, Easton, Pennsylvania. At dinala sa Pilipinas noong March 2nd, 1950. So we had a convention there. Kaya tayo ay na-recharge. At while there, we had a island hopping in the Samal area of Davao City.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maray pang dahilan kaya umuwi ako. At ito pa, Ted, nga pala, para malaman natin mga kababayan.
Oo nga, balitaan mo kami ng inyong mga anong pagbabago na nakita mo sa Pilipinas, pare.
At first, we had to pay our estate tax or inheritance tax on June 14. Dahil isa yun sa pinag-uwi ko rin para yung mga property namin ay may transfer sa amin, but we paid 6 figures of inheritance tax.
Uy, malaki yun. Malaki yun. Malaki ang property nyo doon sa Pangasinan.
We paid 153,000 pesos to BIR. Okay. And then also we are finishing our condo unit in Quezon City.
Yeah.
And also
selling property. Balita yan pare, at nag-invest ka sa Pilipinas and that's what very important naman sa ating mga nasa abroad. At we bring back a part of our income sa Pilipinas
Yes.
to help beef up the economy, di ba?
Yes.
So, anong mga pagbabago na nakita mo naman sa
Okay.
Pilipinas ngayon? Pakikwento mo naman sa amin.
Right. Ang pagbabago, Ted, is yung ating Skyway. Nung sinalubong ako sa Ninoy Aquino International Airport, dati-dati, it took us 1 hour and a half to 2 hours. But now, only 30 minutes from the airport to Quezon City in GSI's Village
Wow!
near Project 8. Okay. And then vice versa from Quezon City to the airport, 30 minutes kasi walang traffic sa Skyway.
Wow!
Yes.
And dati,
Kaya-
dati it takes hours to reach the airport, di ba?
Yeah, dati between 1 hour and a half to 2 hours if you go through EDSA.
Yeah, where so much traffic.
Yes. But ito lang aking kinalulungkot, Ted. Kasi nung pagbaba namin sa may border of Quezon City and Caloocan City, and then pag akit namin sa Skyway, nakakalungkot dahil may mga informal settlers sa pagbungad ng Skyway, doon na sila naliligo, doon ang kanilang mga barong-barong o shanties. Kaya ako'y nanlulumo o ako nalulungkot dahil around the fringes of Metro Manila, marami pa rin naghihirap. Kaya ako'y nalulungkot. At bakit ganito pa rin ang Pilipinas? Hindi pa rin umuulat. Kaya medyo minsan naiiyak ako. Dahil pagpunta ko sa abroad, nakikita ko yung mga malilinis na mga daan-down infrastructures. Pero sa Metro Manila, on the fringes especially, medyo marami pa rin naghihirap. But pagpunta ko sa mall, doon mo makikita ang karangyaan ng mga iba sa SM Mall, sa Trinoma, sa Taguig City or BCG, at saka sa Soler Casino. Pagpunta ko doon, makikita mong karangyaan. O pagpunta mo doon sa Fishers Mall, magaganda ang mga kondon, mga shopping mall. Pero doon sa fringes, meron pa rin mga nakakalat na mga basura, traffic, at sa traffic, okay lang sana yung traffic, pero to each his own. Pwede, walang rules, walang traffic rules.
Alam mo, noong time ni President Marcos Sr., pare, meron siyang first lady, si Madam Imelda Romualdez Marcos, in her capacity as Metro Manila Governor. Malinis ang Manila.
Oo.
Kasi sabi niya, ito ang show window ng Pilipinas to the world. So yung mga napansin mong mga informal settlers sa ilalim ng Skyway, wala yan nung araw dahil she made sure na meron silang lilipatan na lugar, meron silang housing, na where there are also work opportunities waiting for them. Siguro ngayon dahil si Mrs. Imelda Marcos well, she is in an advanced age already at I think more than 90. She can no longer be active for projects like that. Kaya maybe we suggest na the First Lady now, Madam Lisa Marcos, can take over what she did for Metro Manila.
Yeah.
Showcase nga ng Pilipinas yan yung Metro Manila. But balikan
Pero
natin
yung ginawa niya sa Pasig.
Balikan natin yung Skyway, pare. Sino ba ang gumawa niyan? Gobyerno ba? Or,
Hindi, ang may project dito, Ted, it came from the private sector. Si Mr. Ramon Ang, the Chief Executive Officer of San Miguel Corporation. Kaya kaya magandang ginawa niya. You know, when you build infrastructure, Ted, it's constructed or under the auspices of the private sector, mas siguro walang corruption, kaya napakumpleto, maganda. Pero kung galing na sa, hindi ko naman nila lahat, kung ginagawa ng Department of Public Works and Highways, medyo, o sa mga politiko, mayroong mga patong-patong, Teddy, may nababalitan tayong corruption, kickbacks, bribery. Hindi pa rin naalis yan. Kaya nung nagsona si President Marcos, sabi niya, mahiya naman kayo. Pero dito sa wanted, sa ganung infrastructure like itong last na baha, it should also be between multi-sector, multi-sector should get involved. Like itong mga tao din natin, lalo yung mga kanilang bahay malapit sa river banks. Kailangan yung kanilang mga basura, kailangan matapon sa tamang
correct. Pero alam mo,
sa gabal yan, sa waterways.
Yung ginawa ni Ramon Ang ay that must be under the so-called PPP project ng gobyerno, where it's public-private partnership.
Yes, that's correct.
I think it works well for the Philippines. Why don't they adopt that? Sa lahat ng mga infrastructure projects, wala nang dadaan sa senators, wala nang dadaan sa congressmen.
Correct. Wala nang
public, PPP na lahat yan. Para to make sure na ang project na lalabas ay magaganda at walang corruption. Di ba?
Oo, walang...
No, nabanggit mo yung suna ni Presidente tungkol sa highlight. I think that's one of the, if not the most...
well applauded.
The top highlight, I should say.
Yes.
Ng kanyang suna ay ang pagbatikos niya sa mga politiko na...
Ikinabang
na merong pakialam sa mga flood control projects. Specifically, minention niya yung pakikialam nila sa budget at nag-insert sila ng, how much is that? 142 billion flood control projects in several parts of the country. And yet, baha pa rin ang Pilipinas. Ito yun. We are speaking of the budget for the current year, 2025. How about, meron sila ding estimate for flood control projects for the past 10 years. At ang news report says almost 1 trillion ang spent and appropriated for flood control projects. And yet, baha pa rin ang Pilipinas. Baha ang several parts of the country tuwing merong malakas na bagyo. And I mentioned ang report ng Inquirer, speaking of the current budget, where senators have been inserted under the leadership of Senator Chis Escudero. Senator Chis Escudero. 142 billion flood control projects. Andito sa akin yung aking notes. According to the Inquirer, ang sariling insertion ni Senator Escudero ay 9 billion.
Wow.
For the province of Sorsogon. Ito, mas grabe. 12 billion sa Bulacan. Under the sponsorship of Senator Joel Villanueva. And yet, lubog pa rin ang Bulacan ngayon eh. At saka, meron bagyo, wala. Hagunoy yata yung isang palaging lubog.
Kalumpit, Bulacan.
And where did this money go? Diba? And then meron din daw sa Davao, according to news reports, and I'm quoting from the Inquirer, about 7 billion. Sinong sponsor dyan? Si Bungo. Diba? These people have a lot of explaining. Ngayon, because inumpisahan na ni Presidente Marcos yan at pinapa-investiga daw niya, and he wants the DPWH to report to him all the details.
The WP.
Kasi ang implementer ay DPWH, pero yung mga politiko na nag-insert sa budget na yan, ay siyempre, may pakialam yan.
Yeah.
So that's where graft and corruption begins.
Yeah.
Kaibigan. Kaya we challenge the President na gayahin niya yung example dito sa Amerika, pare.
Correct,
No
yeah.
one is above the law. Senator man,
Correct.
congressman man, governor
Mayor
man,
man, councilman man, governor man.
where the evidence leads you, dapat convict ang mga yan. And,
Either mag-resign, ako nag-resign, na preso dito sa Amerika.
dito sa Amerika, gayahin ni Presidente, you know, ang demokrasya natin sa Pilipinas naman ay galing sa Amerika, pattern natin sa Amerika. Bakit
Correct.
hindi natin gayahin ang nangyari sa mga politiko dito? Maraming nakulong sa graft and corruption.
Yeah.
Dan,
We need strong will.
Okay,
Yeah,
pag-mention mo nga
strong
yung
will.
example dito sa
Yeah.
atin, nakulong na politiko.
Ay, dito sa Los Angeles lang, man, yung mga chair ng permit and building or building permit na nakinabang na binigyan ng bribe, he was suspended and he was jailed. Mga ganun. At
Anong posisyon niya?
city councilman or
Ng
city
Los Angeles.
councilor.
Oh,
Ito sa Los Angeles. And
okay.
then doon ako naman sa Illinois, mayroong governor doon na nag-appoint ng senator kasi bakante yung senator na yun, ang position na yun, at he was given a bribe, but it exploded in the media, Teddy. So, yung na-convict yung governor na yun at nakulong.
For graft and corruption.
Whether he's a Democrat or Republican, nakulong.
And he was guilty of bribery.
Yes.
At nakulong, gobernador yan.
Nakulong. Kalalabas lang siguro last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, ito probably nakulong siya ng siguro almost 10 years.
So, walang sinisino ang batas dito sa Amerika.
Wala.
Dapat ganyan din ang gawin ni Presidente Marcos.
Yeah.
Kahit sino, if you really mean business and where the evidence is strong, dapat tutukan ng gobyerno yan at pakulong ang mga yan.
Yes.
Mayroon din dito sa California pare, sa San Francisco. Isang state assemblyman namin dito sa Bay Area. She's a Chinese. He was also convicted. He was a very powerful assemblyman here. Kasi leader ng mga Chinese yun. And he was one of the senior members of the California State Congress as an assemblyman. Nakulong siya. I remember that dahil bagong dating ako sa Amerika dito noon, and it was the headline of all the newspapers here. I think he was a very powerful assemblyman.
Wow.
Mga malalaking committee sa State Congress ng California ang hinawakan niya. And yet, walang sinisino ang batas.
Correct.
So,
except dito, if you're president and you committed a crime, you cannot be jailed right away. Even you can be impeached. Sa America, but you cannot be convicted. I believe if you are a sitting president, yun lang dito. But you can be impeached.
Yeah, exactly. Pero sa Korea, merong mga naprepreso na presidente doon, di ba? Nababalita natin dati. Mas grabe doon.
Ousted by the constitutional judges or justices.
Yeah. Alright, pare, nung wala ka rito, and of course, alam mo ito dahil napapanood mo naman sa television, nagpunta si Presidente Marcos dito sa White House, pare. Naging bisita siya ni President Trump at wag natin palampasin ito na sabihin naman ng gandang pag-welcome ng ating presidente sa Amerika sa presidente natin sa Pilipinas. And mga kaibigan, baka na-miss nyo ito, maganda yung sinabi ni President Trump noong nag-meeting sila sa White House. Allow me to read the welcome remarks of President Trump sa ating presidente. I think maganda ito, kaya basahin ko. It is a great honor to have President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of the Philippines. Great family legacy, and highly respected in this country. I know that because I have many friends in the Philippines. It is a great honor to have you. The last administration, I was not getting along with them too well. They did not go along well with anybody. Of course, he was referring to the former President Rodrigo Duterte. They didn't know. Honestly, they didn't know what they were doing. But we have a fantastic military relationship with the Philippines, and that has been recently reinstituted. Pete, and he's referring to Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense of America. You could not be too happier for the relationship. We are close to finishing a trade deal, a big trade deal actually. We are doing a lot of business with you. It will be a lot of income for both groups, referring of course to the Philippines and the United States of America. It will be a lot bigger with what we are doing about we are proposing. It is a great honor to have you and your representatives. Ang ganda ng kanyang pag-welcome sa ating presidente, kaya hindi ko palalampasin ang tsansang ito na basahin, mga kaibigan. Kung maalala nyo, pinasaringan niya dito si former President Duterte. And yung pala, umaasa sila, yung mga followers at supporters ni Presidente Duterte, maalala nyo mga kaibigan, na nung siya ay na-aresto sa Pilipinas at pinadala sa ICC, inasahan nila na lalabas ng kanyang statement si President Trump criticizing what the Philippines did, pero he never came out with such a statement. And now yung binasa ko kanina na welcome remarks niya, this explains why hindi siya nakisimpatya kay Presidente Duterte. And I repeat what he said. They didn't know honestly what they were doing. Sabi niya tungkol sa administration ni President Duterte. The last administration, I was not getting along well with them. I was not getting along with them too well. They did not go along well with anybody.
Yeah.
That's very revealing.
Yeah.
Okay, pare, at anong take mo dyan?
Kasi alam mo, during the 6 years incumbency ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, he aligned himself with China.
Yeah.
Like he wanted the Philippines to be a province of China. Kaya nga ganon ang kanyang relasyon sa Amerika at sa China. Hindi siya, kasi nga yun ang kanyang, nung nagsimula ito when he wanted to come to America, I believe that when his visa was rejected, that started his rebuke against America. Doon siya nagsimulang to harbor hatred against America. Kaya he aligned himself with China. Kaya ganun ang nangyari. But I'm glad that karoon ulit ng recalibration ng relationship between the US and the Philippines. And in fact, Ted, sinabi ni President Trump kay President Bongbong Marcos na he was a tough negotiator and a respectable president.
Yeah.
Kaya lang yung tariff from 20% naging 19%, isang percent lang ang napababa. Pero and then parang medyo lopsided, pero ang katumbas naman noon is magkaroon ng gagawin sa Subic Bay na ammunition hub.
Yeah, sa Subic Bay. Oh. So,
Okay. And
sa
then,
Subic, sa dating Subic Naval Base. Oh.
yeah. And then,
That will generate a lot of employment, pare, for
yeah,
Philippines.
correct. And then, wala daw exempted ang tariff daw ng American cars papuntang Pilipinas.
Yeah, American cars.
Oh,
Pabor sa atin, pwede na tayong mag-uwi ng kotse natin doon, pare. Walang tarif.
I hope doon sa custom, and then exempted din ng pharmaceutical products. Makagaganda sa Filipino consumers yan dahil
Pare,
hindi na tataas ang prices ng pharmaceutical products.
exactly. Pare, pag uwi nyo, iuwi mo yung Mercedes-Benz mo. Wala na daw tax eh. Zero tariff. Yan ang pangako ni Presidente Marcos. So, maganda naman yon para alam mo, nung araw, ayan ang source of grab sa customs. Yung imported cars.
Yeah.
Lagay dito, lagay doon para mapababa yung customs duties niya. So, pag zero tariff na yan, babay na kayo mga customs na kurakot.
Pero I think the tariff is only involves the consumer goods, not personal effects siguro yun. I think it only involves the consumer goods, not the personal items like personal cars na gusto mo i-export sa Pilipinas. Siguro that,
siguro hindi na wala sigurong qualification na ganyan kasi ang sabi niya American cars zero tariff eh. Only qualification it should be made in America, di ba? So
yeah.
like I mean products of America na American cars.
American cars. American manufactured cars.
Yeah. So zero tariff. Walang customs duties. Walang tax. So subukan natin.
That's American manufactured products.
Right.
Like cars.
Ewan ko yung kung qualified yung Mercedes-Benz dahil German car ito pero
German car.
They have their manufacturing plant here sa Amerika naman, di ba?
Yes.
Meron silang baka American name American brand
American brand.
Okay. Anyway, marami naman iuwi mo yung Explorer mo. Mahal sa Pilipinas ang Explorer pare na SUV. Na Ford.
Let's see, di kaya
kaya yung Mustang, mahal doon. Ford yan. Ay, Chevrolet. Di ba? Marami American cars. Now, pare, ano pa mga naging observation mo sa Pilipinas na
ito pa,
I mean, ikwento mo para alam mo, being the recent example of a balikbayan going home, i-share mo sa aming mga future balikbayans naman.
Right.
Na nagbabala umuwi pero we have our reservations na baka hindi maganda umuwi.
Yeah.
So, can you share to us the good news kung maganda na bakit kailangan umuwi na kami ngayon? Aside of course, maganda yung sinabi mo. Yung Skyway. Travel time is 30 minutes. You mean, alam ko yung lugar mo. That's near the expressway and Northern Luzon Expressway, malapit na.
That's right. We are very near there.
Kasi nasa dulo ka ng Quezon City eh.
Correct.
So, 5 minutes nandoon ka na or 3 minutes nandoon ka na sa NLEX, di ba?
Kung walang traffic.
I mean, yung going from the Skyway, going from the airport, if 30 minutes ka mo, nandoon ka na sa lugar mo, sa GSIS Village, di ba? And then after 5-10 minutes nandoon ka na sa Mindanao exit.
Yes.
Mindanao entrance and exit.
Right.
So karamihan kasi nang umuwi taga north, di ba? Kagaya ko. Di 35 minutes nandoon ako sa NLEX. That's a lot of time saved, pare.
Correct.
Good news yan.
Yeah,
dagdagan mo ang good news kung meron pa.
Yeah. Ang nagustuhan ko doon, pare Ted, is the Quezon Memorial Circle. Alam mo doon, maraming, dati, di ba, yung tower lang ni former President Quezon, the late Quezon.
Yeah, yung malaking tower niya, monument niya. Oh.
Ngayon, maraming punong kahoy doon at malamig doon sa bandang doon, Ted.
Ano yung maraming tao?
Maraming punong kahoy.
Yeah, trees. Oh, galing.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
ganda.
malamig, parang
In the city na may mga kahoy, maganda.
may orchids doon, marang mga binibenta mga exotic plants, at saka maraming restaurant doon, at maraming nagsusumba doon, maraming nag-jogging.
Wow.
Kasi malapit sa amin yun eh.
Oh, yun, correct.
Kaya doon inside the Quezon.
So, magandang recreation area,
Oo, maraming nagsusumba, nag-jogging, saka nagmi-meeting doon.
Ay, how about mga kainan? Meron din.
May, of course, doon ang Max.
Max
Restaurant. Saka, I think, Jollibee yata yun.
Oh, good.
Maraming mga restaurant doon.
Is it good also for old people like us?
Oh, yes.
How about young kids? Can you bring your kids with you?
Of course. Of course.
So, family, it's kind of
it's a family-oriented
place.
park.
Oh, good. Very good.
Pero meron lang ako napunatid.
Doon
sa Davao, di napunta nga
Davao.
Sa Davao, ay kala ko ang Davao, yung maraming doon, yung infrastruktura is maganda. Pero when we were about to board the boat around Samal Island, doon sa Santa Maria Port, naku, putik-putik. Putik-putik, hindi paved, at may mga turista doon. Kaya, at doon pa lugar ni President Rodrigo Duterte, dapat sana ginawa niya yung pinasemento niya, pinaspalto niya, at mayroong restroom, hindi lang putik-putik, kundi flooded. Kulang pa rin tayo ng infrastructure facilities sa Pilipinas, sa Davao.
Dapat paubayan na kay Ramon Ang yan.
Oh, yeah. Asa sa mga iba't ibang junction doon, walang traffic light. Kaya nakabuhol-buhol nung papunta kami sa Santa Ana Port.
That's in Davao.
That's in Davao. Doon sa suburb of Davao City. Kaya walang pa rin yung ating infrastruktura doon.
Alright, pare. Kailangan na mga local officials doon na magising sila naman sa iyong expose ngayon.
Oo.
Balikbayan from Los Angeles, you guys in Davao, wake up.
Wake up. Pero ang gusto ko doon,
Ilang mga Duterte, mga iba pang mga leaders dyan.
Or upcoming leaders.
Wow, ang dami nyo.
Andiyan si Baste, andiyan si Sara, andiyan si Colong.
Napapanood naman, puro nga kayo sa mga interviews ninyo, pero match your words with actions naman. Huwag niyong pabayaan yung mga constituents nyo. At ito ay expose ng isang bisita galing sa Amerika. At magising kayo. Work.
Yes.
Now, pare, balikan natin yung pagbisita ni President Marcos sa Amerika at I think we should give credit also sa bagong press secretary.
Of course, yes.
It is like his baptism of fire ito.
Yes.
At congratulations Dave Gomez. Alam mo, malapit sa atin ito. Si Dave, din yung press secretary natin sa Pilipinas. At kasama niya si Ambassador Babes Romualdez. I know they have their hands full preparing for the visit, during the visit, and after the visit. Kasi of course they're in charge of the media.
Yeah.
Of information tungkol sa mga activities ni Presidente dito sa Amerika. So congratulations for a job well done, Dave, and of course Ambassador Romualdez. Si Dave, by the way, as a backgrounder, ay naging kasamahan natin sa Philippine Star. Kasi doon din ako among other newspapers, doon ako nagsusulat noon, mga kaibigan. At he was taken, if I can say the word taken, from the private sector because siya po ay communications director ng Philip Morris International. But he's now based in Philip Morris, Philippines, as the top man of Philip Morris. He used to serve also as the international communications man of Philip Morris. For a while, he stayed in Switzerland, where the Philip Morris is international headquarters is based. And before that, by the way, during the time of GMA, he was the PIA, Philippine Information Agency, Director General, before he was pirated, I should say, from government by Philip Morris. Kaya you are doing a great job, Dave, but again, congratulations.